communication and teamwork are essential aspects of all businesses and organizations that determine the quality of project progressions more often than not. If the members of any team fail to communicate or work collectively, the quality of expected outcomes will suffer considerably. Slack is a messaging app for businesses that connect people to the information that they need. By bringing people together to work as one unified team, Slack transforms the way in which organizations communicate. Slack can be a phenomenal project management tool as you can use it to organize your team, stay on the same page, and make decisions more quickly by bringing all your work communication into one place. In this course, you will understand how Slack is an excellent and powerful tool with a rich collection of settings and options. So, if you feel the need to dig deeper into Slack project management, sit tight as we bring to you all the information you need right on your screens. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions and I will respond to your comments.
Before moving on, let's talk about some of our learning objectives. So we'll start off by knowing what is Slack project management, what does the term project management mean, what are the key steps involved in a project management. Then we'll know the need of project management tools that are coming up these days like Slack, Asana or Jira. So in this particular course, we'll talk about Slack project management. So we'll start by knowing the introduction to Slack, the getting started with Slack, setting up your account in Slack, and also downloading Slack for the particular desktop. Then we'll know about the user interface of Slack. What are the different, dashboard views we get when we have Slack installed? What are the key features of Slack? So all this session is going to be hands-on of knowing exactly what Slack is. Now, if you are a budding entrepreneur or if you have just started a small team or you're working on a project in your college, Slack project management tool is the best way to optimize the way in which you work, to effectively improve how simple processes can be done, right? Now, Slack project management provides you a perfect way to track all the team members. What are they currently working on? What is the progress of the entire team? So before any further ado, let's get started with Slack project management. Before talking about project management, let's first understand what exactly does the word project mean. So in order to explain project, it is defined as a series of tasks that must be completed to achieve a specific outcome. So when we start off, when we know what is a project, right, we lay down some goals, which is called SMART goals. S stands for specific, M measurable, A achievable. So we make such SMART goals so that we know what is the track in which the project is moving forward, right? So a project would have a particular big outcome at the top, then it would have specific smaller divisions to it, specific small topics that we need to achieve in order to make sure that our ultimate objective is completed. So second point is a project has a definitive beginning and an end. So when we start off by project, we would know what are our key responsibilities in that particular area. We would start off by knowing what is the step that needs to be taken to roll out the project in a definitive manner. And when our goals are achieved, when our objectives are met, we would say that the project has ended. Now, a project can be managed by a single person or hundreds of people or multiple managers, we can say. So what does this mean? It means that it completely depends on the scope of the project. If a project is massive, then you would require a lot of different managers to manage that particular objective. But if your scope of the project is very small, if it is like a college project that you're doing, a small scale project, then you would not need too many people to handle it. You yourself can handle it or two other friends can handle it. So in this way, what a project is totally depends on the scope of how big or small it is. Lastly, every project is unique and is a one-time activity. Now, this statement, what I make is purely dependent on how well the project is initiated, how well your organization is dealing with the projects. Is it making a project a one-time activity, or does it have a lot of projects that are reoccurring? If they are reoccurring, then the particular thing should be optimized in such a way that it does not require a lot of people. But if a project is new, it involves a lot of innovation, so that project would be completely unique and a one time thing, because you would know what you want to achieve at the very end, right? Now let us understand, what does project management mean? As the name suggests, project management means managing a particular project in a way that it achieves the particular goals and objectives that are already set, right? So project management is the planning and managing a project to complete the listed objectives and deliverables. This can be a short-term project or a long-term project. It may vary from different types of working environments. It may be a fast-track project that would be completed within a week or so, or it can be a long outstanding project that would involve a lot of external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. So that could be dragged for months, right? So project management is heavily dependent on the people that are managing it, right? They can be senior managers, they can be the vice president, they can be the ones who are specially hired to look after certain projects, right? Freelancers. Next, we'll talk about project management applies, right? Processes, method, skills, knowledge, and experience to achieve project objectives within accepted parameters. So there are certain parameters set, there are certain, white lines set, that this is the lines in between which you have to work. These are the more disciplined way of doing it. This is the more efficient way of doing this, right? So project management, the main task of project management is to optimize the ways in which you are working, to optimize the results that are coming forward, and also to be more efficient in that particular way, right? It include recognizing and managing risks, careful resource management, and open communication across multiple teams. Now, when we talk about resource management, we need to know that we can't spend too much of a budget on a particular project. We need to make sure that the budget is within our limits of spending, and also we need to set deltas if there is any loss that is incurred by a particular organization, right? Now let's talk about project management life cycle. Now there are various steps that are involved in project management and project management life cycle. So let's talk about in a greater depth, and note it is a very important topic, so make sure you are making notes out of it, right? So we'll start off by knowing what is the first step in project management, that is initiation. What does that mean? It means understanding the goals, the priorities, the deadlines, and the risk of the projects. That is the first step. Whenever you have managers sitting across to discuss a particular project, this is the first step that they take. The second step is planning. Now, that would include outlining the tasks and the timeline that is required for each task in that particular project objective. The third part is execution. Now, execution means turning the plan into action, right? Turning the plan into the ways in which that is achievable, right? That would involve assigning tasks to various stakeholders in the company so that they could be on track with the ways in which project is moving ahead. Then comes monitoring. Monitoring involves tracking the goals and budgets, right? We have few indicators or few responsibility areas that needs to be tracked, right? That should be quantified, that should be measurable, right? So we should monitor those tasks through measurable goals. Then comes the last part, that is closing that particular project, which means analyzing the result and summarizing the key learnings of that particular project. So this was 5 different steps of a project management life cycle. The first step was again initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closing that particular project or the results section, right? Next, we will be talking about what is the need of project management tools for a particular project in an organization. Now, after discussing what is project and what is project management, now comes the most important question, that to manage these projects, what essential tool that is required? What is the essential app that is required? Now, we can communicate with each other in an organization with emails, right? But that's not the most effective way of communication. The reasons: It can be because emails they do not have a particular deadline set for a particular task. How would you manage the milestones that you have achieved or the milestones that are to be achieved, right? So all these things require a particular tool that can manage all this stuff, the deadlines, the tasks that are involved, the step by step breakdown of a particular objective. That cannot be done through normal emails. So that is why the most important part that we need a project management tool like Slack. The first point that comes to our mind is the use of project management tool ensures that the entire project management process runs smoothly. It is not hindered by any obstacles on the way. It is not hindered by technological errors. That is why we need a tool that can manage all that stuff in a very synchronous manner. Next is the tool assists a team or an individual in doing a project management task more effectively and efficiently. Now, if the scope of the project is massive, right, we need to be more effective in the way we are doing process and to track each and every individual in the team, how well they are doing their project, are they on time, right? So all these things to be managed, we need a project management tool. The main aim, mind you, is to be more efficient, to save more time, and be very consistent with the work that we are doing. That is the main aim on an objective of a team in a particular organization. Third point is it allows you to designate which tasks are performed in a specific order and which tasks are interdependent. Now, there are always certain objectives that needs team support, that needs collaboration with some individuals to move the project ahead, right? So that needs to be followed in a much more convenient manner, in much more smooth manner. That is also the reason why we need a project management tool. Now, let me tell you what are the most important features of a project management tool. Number one, it should be simple to use. Now, we don't want any complications in people knowing how to use a particular tool. It should be simple to use, it should be easy to handle, and it should be very easy to operate in a way that everyone is in sync with it. The tool should be suitable for the project and have a very pleasant interface. We don't want cluttered interface in which everyone is finding where that particular tab is or where that particular application is, right? We need to be very consistent in the way we look at a project management tool. Second is customizable. Now, every organization in different sectors, be it oil, technology, be it education, be it edtech, so all these different diversities of occupations require different types of customization in the way their projects and objectives are handled. Now, the tool should be easy to configure based on the needs of that particular team. So, it should not be a way in which the tool is telling you what to do. It should be you telling the tool how you want that particular application to run. Third is collaboration. As I already mentioned before, the tool should allow for collaboration so that the entire team can work together in a very harmonious manner. So all these things are the need of a project management tool in a particular organization. Mind you, only emails cannot solve a problem of a particular organization to go forward. The organization needs to be more update on the recent technologies that are coming into so that the productivity and the efficiency of that particular organization is exponentially increased. Now, finally, it's the time to introduce you to the most important tool that we currently is in demand is called Slack project management tool. So we'll look at what exactly is Slack, what are the main components, main features of it, then we'll get started on their website. So let me tell you what it is. It is a task management software. As we all know, it can be downloaded on your laptop, it can be downloaded, it can be worked online on your browser as well. So it was launched way back in 2013 when it was not quite popular because the internet was gaining momentum at that time, but people were very, very focused on using emails rather than using a project management tool. But now the things have changed. Now the technology has grown exponentially that we want to use certain softwares that can increase our productivity. So we can find Slack in www.slack.com. We will look about it in a greater depth going forward. Now let's talk about the important features of Slack. Now Slack has a lot of, advantages over a conventional email ecosystem. So the number one is it is customizable. It allows you to customize your home setup in the way your teams feel more productive. Second is the clear goal setting for teams. So for every channel, we'll talk about what channel is, but for every task that is being done, you can have a separate window for it, and you can clearly set the goals in the description box, the agenda of that particular task that has to be followed, and clear goal setting for so that all the individuals in that particular organization know what you are doing. Next is the integration with other useful apps. Now, if a project management tool has to exist, it needs to collaborate, it needs to be accessible to the other apps. For example, Gmail, for example, Google Drive, Dropbox, Outlook, all these things to be integrated within the particular project management tool, because we don't want switching applications. Like if you're using Slack, then you would go to your Gmail, you would go to your Google Calendar and all those stuff. So it would be a waste of time if it was to be switched between different applications. But Slack project management tool allows you to have all these other external stakeholders inside that particular app so that you don't have to switch tabs, right? So this is a very important feature in Slack project management. Next is easy progress tracking. Now, with a particular objective in mind, with a particular task in mind, the most important aspect that comes is that particular task being operated in the way it needs to be? Is it on track? Is it in sync with what the external or the internal stakeholders want? So the progress tracking is one such step in which Slack is way ahead of others. It has a very customizable way of tracking the progress of a particular individual in that particular team. Next is privacy controls. Now, we need to understand that with so many companies in the market and you have competition with their rivals, you need to know that privacy plays a very integral part for an individual as well as for an organization. Now, Slack have different channels. We'll talk about that in greater depth. So it has private channels and public channels. Private channels can only be accessed by invites from the admins, cannot be seen by anyone else in that organization. So privacy is very important, and Slack is at the top in when it comes to privacy. It knows that it has to maintain its integrity. So privacy is number one priority for Slack project management. Then comes breaking project into tasks. Now with a very high scope of a particular project, it comes that there can be multiple objectives or there can be a very big goal to achieve. Now, we as humans have tendency to go one step at a time, so we break that particular big objective into smaller achievable steps so that we can be more comfortable in achieving those. So Slack project management allows you to break those big tasks, big objectives into smaller steps so that everyone is in sync with what they are doing. All right, now let's get started with Slack on their website. So as I have already mentioned before, in order to get started with Slack, you need to click on www.slack.com. So you will enter in the particular website of Slack. So this is the website of Slack project management. As you can see, there are different sort of things that the Slack is telling us. That is your digital headquarter. You can find everything here. You don't need a physical building for it. You can manage everything from just this particular application. So it's telling you about faster by organizing your work life, focus your time on your own terms and all that stuff. So as you can see on the left top corner, you have the Slack, and under the product category you can see different features. If I click on features, it will tell you what are all the features. Now this is more accessible to everyone, every individual. You can try it for free. Slack is free, but more features you can attain when you are in the enterprise version of it or the organization version of it. So work more easily with everyone. So the number one thing that they are highlighting here is called channels. So you have different types of, as you have groups in your WhatsApp, so similar to that, you have productivity groups called as channels in Slack. So the number one thing, that is channels. Second is Slack Connect. Now Slack Connect is nothing but if your organization has hired a third party organization or a third party vendor that you are collaborating with, so you don't want to give your entire information to them, right? So in that particular case, you would be giving access to certain parts of it. So that is through Slack Connect. So the other organization will be in collaboration with your organization on certain levels to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Next is messaging. So messaging is the most important part, that if you don't want something that should be typed on the group, you can privately or direct message it to the person that you want to do it. So that is through messaging. Then you have voice and video calls. Now, in the era in which everything is remote in the post-COVID times, so the integration of voice and video calls is a must to any project management tool. So more than that, you have apps and integrations. As I have already mentioned you before, that Slack provides you integration. You don't need to switch tabs to other tabs to look at what Slack is. So in that particular case, the apps and the integrations that are required, like Google Drive, Google Calendar, Microsoft Office, Dropbox, and all these stuff, they are already included or already integrated in this platform, right? You can actually click and see what all these are there. 2200 they say. They have collaboration. You don't have to pay any other cost, any additional cost to use Slack or to use those integrated programs. You have apps that are unified and secure, always apps that can keep work and information right at your fingertips, at your command. So all these things are included. On the move you can go. Productivity you have, so as you can see, they have these productivity apps. Now you can go through all those apps that you maybe require. So to-do list is one. You have different Asana project management tool, again Slack for Gmail. All right. Now, if you want to know that if the work that you're doing is secure or not, so in this security tab, you can actually know what the fundamentals of how Slack works. So if you click on view data sheet over here, you can actually look at what the certifications are in terms of privacy, the European standards that are being followed over here. So all these things you can know in greater depth if you read this particular document. It is very transparent. It is very highly focused on protecting your data and managing, identifying and managing the devices that you're working in. All right. Next comes, so I would like to show you what channels are. So if you want to know what different channels are, you can visit this particular page of channels. They will tell you what exactly channel is. But anyways, I will be giving you a greater in-depth hands-on view on what channels are going forward. So as I already mentioned you before, there are private channels, there are public channels, and there are connections through external stakeholders. So you, as it has mentioned, public channels, that is, that is viewable to everyone. Then you have private channels in which the invite only feature works, and then it is Slack Connect when you have collaborations with third-party vendors. You have different blogs in which they would be telling you how Slack works, how you can increase your efficiency through Slack. All right. Now, when you want to download this particular application, how can you do so? So you can click on this particular tab called Sign In, and then you can create on the right hand corner. You have created an account if you don't already. So you can create your account. You can, put your email ID, and then you can sign up for this particular application. Or if you don't want to do this, you can directly go try for free option. You can click on this particular tab, and then again you can, you know enter your email and sign up to that particular thing. All right. So after creating your account, the first thing that it will, there are total 3 steps that need to be followed. The first step is that they will be asking you, what is the name of your company or the team that you are trying to build? Okay, let's just say we create a team called Time Management. All right. So you can create a team. Next is, what is the team currently working on? You could type anything. You would type increasing mm, work productivity, right? You can create this. Now the third step they would be asking is, who do you email the most about these things? What are the team members that you want to add? So you want to add, you can add any name. Let's just say I give a particular name to it. When you write this particular thing, you can see there is one another, a tab that opens up for other members to add. You don't really need to do anything. You can just, so it will keep coming up one after the other. You want to remove it, you can just cancel it, and you can just add, you can either skip this particular step or you can add teammates, right? So this is done. Now, one more feature is that if you don't want to use Slack on the particular browser, you can always download it. How do you do that? I'll let you know how to do that. Okay. This is the particular dashboard that displays when you log in, when you create a particular team. So you can say let's go and everything. All right. So now I'll be showing you how to the certain promotion that comes up for Slack. All right, so you can enable your notifications from this. If you click on enable notifications, then whenever a notification comes, the particular Windows, right? This is a Windows laptop, so Windows will give you a pop-up saying that you have a notification in Slack. So I don't want it, so I'll say don't do it here. Now, in this particular dashboard, we can see that our team is called time management. As I have mentioned, now you can browse the different channels. So there is a general channel in which all the people, they can actually look at what you're working on. You can type in what you are doing. Second is the increased work productivity that I have put into picture. Now, in this particular channel, I have a friend that whose email I have already mentioned it here. So I can click on here. I can direct chat him as well. I can say hi to him, or you can just be what you are. This particular space, right, in which you have signed in, so there will be always a thing in which you want to keep track of something for yourself. You can click here, hello, you can put here meeting at 7 p.m., just for your own reminder, just for you keeping your notes, right, for yourself. You can do it by this particular tab. Now, Slack consists of three major things, that is called channels. Number three is direct messages. Number four is Slack Connect. So since I'm not working on any collaborations with any external stakeholders, that particular tab is not being shown. Otherwise, you would have another tab here stating Slack Connect. Now, the channels, right? So all the team members, the greater the different tasks that you're performing, greater would be the channels that are being created, right? You can browse anything. You can browse all DMs, mentions, and reactions. Slack Connect. You can also click on this, see how it works. It will give you a complete tour, send an invite to the particular team that you're working with, external to your organization. You can get a brief timeline on how it is done. Now, you have random stuff in it in which you have these are certain channels that already gets created once you log in or once you sign up for Slack. Now I would also give you a particular thing that if you want to not work on browser, you want a particular dedicated app for it. So on their website slack.com, you can go to the end of the page and you have a particular option called as download Slack. So I'll click on it. So it will give whatever. Now you can choose whatever system that you're using. Since I'm using Windows, so it already shows me that download Slack for Windows. I have a 64-bit processor, so I'll just click on 64-bit, and as you can see, it is running the application. If I click on this, all right, so it has downloaded into Slack. I'll just click on sign in. If I directly have to sign up, I can create a new workspace, or I can just create a particular account. So I have already signed up, so I'll just click on sign into Slack. Now it shows me what are the works. Since I have two particular emails, so it shows me two particular things. So I'll click on the ones that I'm currently working on and click on open. So it will give me a redirection message that you have already downloaded Slack on your laptop. So open Slack. So this particular application will start running. All right, so I will be using Slack on the browser itself. So you have random things that come up. Now I would like to give you a brief description of what channels are. So now what are these channels? Now channels bring order and clarity to the work that you're doing. You can create them for your project, your topic, the team that you're working with, and there is can be a channel for everything that you're doing. You can focus on the conversation and the work that is on priority. So that is the most important meaning of what channels are. Now the second most important thing is that it creates alignment in the work process that you're doing. So it provides you and your team with a shared view, with the same work that is being done, with the access to the same information. Everyone can be in sync with the way that you are doing that particular thing. So as I have mentioned before, that Slack has actually three major things called as public channels. Now as you can see here, hashtag journal is a public channel, right? Now these channels are open to anyone of your company to join and find in what you are doing. So it increases transparency while allowing everyone to be benefited with the context of the conversation of the things that you are putting out there. Now, the second most important part is private channels. Now, for sensitive or any confidential information that you don't want anyone else apart from the ones that you want to see, so only those can be invited in that particular channel and find the contents that are in that particular thing. So in order to make a channel private, what you would do, you will click on that particular channel, let's say increasing work productivity, then write to the my name of the company or the name of the thing that I'm doing, time management. There is a small downward arrow, so I'll click on that. Then I'll click on preferences, right? So a window will open. So in that I have privacy and visibility, so I'll click on that. And then I will be so what you want to do is, you don't want anyone to see it, you said no one, and you can just click, you can just cancel that particular thing. So now this becomes a private channel. So now anyone else apart from organization cannot look at that particular thing. You can add channels, create a new channel, you can say XYZ thing, name of the channel, let's just say this is the, okay, the description. You can write the description. Now description are important stuff. The reason is that the person who are joined recently that to that particular channel would know what is the purpose of that particular channel, right? So you can write, which is optional. Then also, while making the channel, you have an option called make private. So when a channel is private, it can be viewed by invitation, as I already mentioned before. So I can click on that and then create, right? So I can also add people to it. So if you have a group, then you can directly add the group, or I have the name, I'll click on this, I'll click on add, right? So that particular channel will be created and you can start typing again. Now typing also has different options to it. You can, you can make it bold, you can make it italics, you can strike off that particular thing, or you can add a particular file or a particular link that you want them to add, like let's say slack.com I can add. So it will open up a pop-up window and I can post that particular thing. So if I click on this, a browser will open slack.com. So links can be shared in a very convenient manner, or you can also add, you can upload from your computer any file that you want to upload. You can create a post, you can set a reminder. Okay, you can set, okay, let's say there on 19th December, 9 a.m. there is a meeting, so I can create, so everyone would know that I will remind you meeting at 9 a.m. today, view reminders, something like of that sort. Now if you want to type in suggestions in pointers, you can also do so. You can just write XYZ to create pointers. When you have typed a particular point, then you click on shift and enter, so it gets to the second point. You can write shift enter. Then if you click on only enter, then that the particular thing will go as it is. So this is how the main user interface work. You can also change, you can also hide formatting, you can also display formatting. So all these things can be mentioned. More than that, you can schedule a particular message. So if you want to say hello everyone, please share your weekly reports. So you can also click on the time in which you want to send, you can schedule it for that particular time. So it will go at that particular time in that particular thing. So it will be marked in the particular taskbar, you would say, on the left hand side, scheduled one. So it would go at that particular level, at that particular thing. Now the ones with hashtags, right? Hashtags right next to it are open to everyone outside the organization also. So as I already mentioned, if you want to restrict that, you can go on the downward arrow, preferences, privacy, no one. So apart from your organization, no one else can see. And if you want to make that particular channel private to only the individuals that you want, then you can create the channel and make it private already, right? So all these things can be done. Now the ones that is private to only a few individuals will show a lock sign in front of it, others will show a hashtag sign out in front of it. Okay, so this is the thing. You can also add different people, you can search different people. I don't have many people on Slack, so I don't really add so I can't really add more people to it. But now as you can see that this view can sometimes be very cluttered, right? Sometimes it can be very, challenging to find out which channel you are looking at or which person you are texting. So in that scenario, what you can do is you can again click on the preferences tabs, and then you can, yeah, click on sidebar. Now you can always show in the sidebar. So this sidebar you can all unread messages only, or you can create all mentions and reactions, all DMs, Slack Connect, channel browser, file browser, or you can just, change it to how you want to look at. You want to look at by alphabetical order. The most recent ones will show on the top, channels alphabetically, so the entire thing will be generated in alphabetical order. So now now all your conversations, right, you can only do it unread conversations only. So what will happen in this case is that all your channels will just pop away, it will just go away. All those one in which the message has been generated will be displayed. Other than that, everything will go away. So you can change it again in the sidebar according to the way you want, plus your start. Now you can also star your particular channel. How to do so I will tell you. Sidebar, all your conversations, right, all the channels that you have. Now how to do it, you can star that particular channel, so it will be generated in star. Now the starred ones are mostly used for the ones that are in your daily communication or that you most oftenly text into. So this is that particular channel that will be created in the starred sidebar. All right. After seeing all the basic channels, how to download Slack, what are the different channels of Slack, how do they operate, I'll give you some productivity tips and key features that are essential to know when working on Slack. So we start off by going to the right top corner in which I have my profile symbol. So when I click on it, I can edit my status, I can edit my profile. So let's go to the profile preference here. Now, since we all are working remote, so it's advisable for everyone to update their profile pic so that the person in your community, the person in your business entity and your organization would clearly know who you are, right? So you can edit your profile from here. You can change your name, my name. Let me write my name. You can put up a profile picture. What do I do? Let's say soft, let's say design expert, right? So I can save these changes. I can add my phone number, where do I live, which time zone I am in, and we can save changes. So it will appear up in the particular profile menu. Then apart from it, what you can also do, since you're working in organization and you're working remote, so what would happen, you would have to update your profile status, right? You would, if you are on leave, you can put up vacation or sick leave, in a meeting, you are on your way to work. So you can actually put all these things in setting a status of what you are currently working on. You can actually put a custom status, working, or I can just say recording, right? So these things can be saved. So what would happen is it would appear to the people in your organization, okay, you are recording something, right? So this will be how it works. One more thing is that to be little more productive, what you can do is on in the sidebar, you have a more menu. If you click on that more menu, you would have different sort of things. So I'll click on customize this list in your preferences. When I click this, I get this dialog box, and now I'll see what I can do in this. So in the sidebar part of it, you see channel browser. Now the point that comes it, if you are working on multiple projects at random and you need to search which channel by their name and you don't really want to waste your time scrolling through the list, so you will click the checkbox of this. Second is people, users and groups, and the third is apps. Now I'll tell you in a greater depth what all these three are. So let's see. So I have added all the three components, the channel browser, the people and user groups and apps. So it shows me in the sidebar. So when I click on channel browser, I can search the channel. Let's say I've made increasing work productivity, right? So it will come up here, which one, since I have only 4 channels over here, so it doesn't really mean to browse it. But if you have multiple channels across this platform, then it is advisable to use channel browser for quick productivity. Next come people and users. All right, so this is what the IT team of a particular or service management team does in a particular organization. So if there are like 1400 or 1500 employees, so all their designations, all their contact details will be uploaded by them onto this platform on the backend server, right? So you don't really need to add particular people in this, they will already be added. Okay, so for example, I have only one person here, so it shows me 2 people that are already added, right? So this is how you can actually randomly put up something, and if they are on Slack, you can add them, or if they are not, then you can actually send them an invite, or if you are sending it to the entire team, you can just copy invite link, right? The third is the apps. As I've already mentioned before, that Slack integrates all the different third-party apps that are needed to increase your work productivity. So in this case, you would have Google Drive, you would have Zoom meetings, you would have Jira Cloud, you would have Outlook Messenger. So all these things, Asana, Box file. So all these things you can actually add. Let me show you how. You can just click on this, then it will show you the Google App Directory. So you can add it in this particular thing, add to Slack. All right. So yeah, so if you allow these permissions, it will get added to Slack project management, right? So in this way, you can also, and it is already always advisable to use more of these apps if your productivity increases hencefold from this particular thing. You can add Google Calendars, you can add Google Drive, you can add all sort of ways in which you can increase your productivity, right? You can actually search, let's say Box to search. So Box will come here. If your files are shared through Box in your organization, you can use it. Else, anyways, Team Gantt is there for making Gantt charts. So all in this way, you can increase your productivity in Slack. Now let's talk about the best practices that needs to be followed while making the channels and while working on different channels. So what happens is that we create channels, so we need to give the input to the organization, or we need to give the input to that particular channel about what that channel is all about. We need to give a brief description about it. So let me just create a quick channel. So I'll create a channel. Let's say I can, let's say budget. Okay, so budget me. Description, this is about creating a budget. So when I create this particular channel, I can add people to it. All right, I have to create a description out of it. So what I will do, I'll just click on edit description and write. I can add it and save it. So the purpose of this is that it becomes more convenient for anyone to know what it is. Okay, so it comes in best practices. Second most important part of it is that whatever the files that are being shared and which one of them are the most important one, you should pin those particular files so that any person who comes to the channel could look at what are the most relevant stuff they need and not is the cluttered part of it. The main purpose of Slack is to increase the clarity of working, increase the productivity of working, and also decrease the dependency of emails, right? So this is the purpose of Slack. So more than that, what else we can do in this particular thing is that we can create announcement channels. Okay, so what are these announcement channels? So sometimes there are situations in which you need to tell your entire team that the goals have been achieved, what are the different acquisitions that the company has taken, and what are the workshop, if there are any workshop on mental health or something like that that have come up, a webinar sort of thing. So you don't want people to type in that particular channel. You just want people to see, okay, this is the event that is coming up. So hence you create announcement channels in which the administrator can post different stuff, but the people can only view it or not particularly take action on that particular thing. Okay, so say, and one more important thing is that if you have any meeting, right? So Slack automatically gives you Slack bots, which give them regular reminders on what are their deadlines, what are the meetings that are coming place, if there is any meeting that is happening. So all these things will be taken care by Slack bots. And lastly, a very important thing is that there are multiple files, multiple presentations that have been posted in the channel, right? So it is your responsibility to pin the one that is the most recent one and the most updated one, so that everyone looks to that while they are referring to something and not other files, right? All right. So if you want to set up custom Slack bot messages, how do you do that? How do you respond to that particular thing, right? So what we'll do is we'll click on the sidebar and we'll click on time management, the downward arrow, and then we'll go to settings and administration. Then click on customize time management, as you can see. Then there is an option called as Slackbot. If I click on Slackbot, you can actually search for the responses, right? When someone says Slackbot response, okay. So I'll click on plus add new response. When someone says I in office, if someone says I'm in office, what would the bot respond? Please come to fifth floor, right? So whenever someone texts you that I'm in office, you can tell them please come to fifth floor. So this is a custom that you don't have to particularly type it out to that person. The Slackbot will be here to assist you on that particular note. You can consider Slackbot as your personal assistant that will take care of most of the stuff that is irrelevant to your time, which takes a lot of time or brain space to do so. So that is why Slackbot helps you in doing achieving that. One more thing that you can do while you are on Slack is that sometimes you really want to send out, you know, custom emojis. So how would you do that without searching on that particular emoji tab? Is that let's just say you want to create a dogs picture. So you'll add plus colon dog, right? So it would automatically come into picture and you can just send it out. So this is how you would do it. If you really don't want to scroll through the emoji tab, you can say, let's say one more. I'll add plus colon cat and I click OK and send it. So it will go into that particular area. So this is how. Now these are some of the productivity hacks that we learned in this course. All right. So we are at the end of this particular course. Now let's look at what were our learning objectives. So we started by knowing what is project, what is a project management. Then we moved to what is a brief intro on Slack project management. Then we got to know the need of project management tools in a particular organization or a business entity. Then we introduced Slack to you. Certain features were also told. Then we moved to knowing how to download Slack for desktop, basic user interface of Slack, and then at the end we had some really interesting key features and productivity tips for using Slack. I hope this particular course and session was very useful to you. For more such videos, stay tuned to Great Learning.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions and I will respond to your comments.